Susan Roberti. I have a very special guest today, and as a matter of fact, which I never do, I wrote an opening, and it's Erin is a member of the Patriot Guard Riders. A few times a year, I do a show about them. This is a way to say thank you and get the word out about the Patriot Guard Riders. What can I say except hi?
Hi.
This is Erin.
Hi.
Thank you for volunteering your time.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you. First question I have is, how did you get started in this? This is always so interesting.
I read in the paper there was a veteran that was killed in Afghanistan. I read in the paper he was a Marine, and I was a Marine. And so I went to that funeral, and I saw Patriot Guard Riders, and I started to talk to them, and I thought this is something that I would like to do, be a part of Patriot Guard Riders, Pennsylvania.
Now, what would you do? Who would you contact if you would want to become a Guard Rider?
We have a website, and it's www.patriotguardriders.org.
And we'll put it on at the end of the show for you.
And there's a contact. All the information is on that website.
How many years have you been doing this?
I've been doing it about 5 years now.
I guess every is an adventure each time, huh?
It's an adventure. Every mission, we call them missions, and we stand for the veterans that have passed, or police officers that have passed, or firemen that have passed, or EMTs that have passed. And each funeral is different. We also stand for soldiers that were killed in action, or overseas, or while they were in the military, not in action. And each one is complicated, so it's different every single time we go out.
Well, do you contact these people, or do they contact you to come?
They have to contact us, and the family has to give permission before we will do anything. Somebody in the family.
Well, do you speak to them for a while before? Does someone go and visit them and find out, who this person is and that has passed away?
We do speak to them, but sometimes we do not have a lot of time to do anything. We may have the notice a day before, and that we have to find the men or women to stand and get it prepared, find out where it is, and get to that mission.
Well, the ladies, which I know that you have ladies now, do they have to be from the service? Have been in the service?
No, you don't have to be in the service to belong to Patriot Guard Riders.
Oh.
You just have to have the will to be a hero and stand for our veterans and servicemen.
Why would you recommend this to somebody? If somebody would walk up to you from your heart, what would you say to them? If they were having a hard time in life and they really needed, something to uplift them, what would you tell them?
Well, there are two sides to this coin, the way I look at it. One, as Americans, we have an obligation. It should be an honor to us to honor our veterans. They are forgotten almost now. There was a time where our country was patriotic. Now there's no patriotism. So it's an honor to come to these funerals and stand for them and they deserve it. They earned it. The other side of the coin is a person personally. You have to have it in your heart. If a person is down, that's okay, but they have to have something in their heart to do something good. And one of the things to do good is to be able to do something simple. You don't have to have a motorcycle, just have to do something simple. Be there, hold a flag. If you don't have a flag, that works too. Just be there and honor that veteran.
And give back.
And give back. It's from your heart. And the more you give from your heart, the better you feel. It's, you know, I come to a mission, I stand, and when I leave, I know I did something special, and it's here. And when you walk away, you know, it's you know, you did a little thing, but you too are our hero.
That you say a little thing, and when I do things, oh well, that was just. But truly, for that family to have someone there in honor of their son or daughter, that has to be the biggest and happiest and kindest thing at a very, very sad time in their life.
I can't tell you how many times a family member will come to us and hold us and cry on our shoulder. They know that we are there. We don't ask for money. So we're there for one reason, their loved one that's passed. And we don't ask for anything. We will help them in any way. They ask us, I've done things for the family. For whatever reason, I've run out for stamps. They wanted stamps. I ran for stamps. It's from your heart. They know it's from your heart. And no matter who else is there, they come to us. They are really grateful for what we do.
Well, there are no words in my heart. You guys are the best. I mean, the soldiers, our soldiers that are fighting now and have fought, but for you to continue, you did your service and now you're continuing doing your service for your country. And you're my heroes. Believe me, you are. Terrific, terrific people.
You know, we look at it too, you know, we don't expect, when we come to a mission, we think this is a high honor because, you know, we don't expect a thank you. We're there, we go, but there's nothing, no benefit except what we did. No one's going to come and, well, you're a hero. I mean, we don't expect that.
Right, and you don't want it.
We don't want that. We come, we do what we do, and we don't expect any kind of pay, any kind of thank you. We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, and I think when you get in your car or on your motorcycle on the way home, and you're remembering this is your thank you.
True, absolutely.
It is. Just thinking how those people really needed you to be there, because that's why you're there. For some reason, the Lord just, you know.
It is a special thing we do, and if we know it, they know it, and that's all that we need to do.
How many in Pennsylvania? Do you know how many of Guard Riders, Patriot Guard Riders, are in Pennsylvania, and how many is in the whole U.S. of A.?
Well, the whole U.S. of A., there are many thousands, many. I don't really know, but in Pennsylvania, we have, the last count that I was given was about 5,000 members all over the state of Pennsylvania. So they come from every little town, every little crossroad to stand.
Yeah.
They're wonderful guys and gals.
Now, from what I understand, there was just a few that started this.
Correct. In Kansas, and it's spread out, and Pennsylvania has grown incredibly.
It's amazing. I truly, from just a handful of men, and it just blossomed and blossomed and caught on. And that's how many good and kind, you hear so many bad things on TV all the time, but to hear about your group, it just warms my heart, because there's so many of you that really care.
It's true. It's not easy for them either, because many work, and we don't always get a notice for, you know, we don't have time, a long notice. So if a guy's working and we ask, well, I get notice a day before, we ask them, we need you, come and stand with us. That person has to find a way to say, well, can I leave work and come just for an hour or 2 hours or 4, whatever it takes.
Aww.
So it's not just, for those of us like me that have more time that can just do that most of the time, these guys have a tough time to showing up, and they do.
Wow, wow. Oh, let me see. Oh, yeah. I have 3 brothers, and older brothers, and they were all in the service at the same time. But does it matter what war you were in, if you were in the Second World, First World War? Does it matter? It does, can anyone call and say, my father was in the First World War, the Second World War, and could you come be with us?
We stand for any serviceman. It doesn't matter, and any police officer. They can be from any war. They don't even have to be in a war, as long as they were in the service.
Remember, as long as they were in the service. Yeah, yeah. Because some people have come up and approached me and asked me about your organization, and I always tell them that, you don't have to be anything but a person in the service. Or like now I've learned police or the fireman, but you could be a pencil pusher in the service. You belonged.
Absolutely.
And you gave service.
Absolutely.
And that is what is needed.
And we will stand for that person. Our members can be anybody. Anyone that can stand and hold a flag.
Hear that.
And show respect and honor. That's what we ask for.
Now, when you get there, what do you do? When you get to the gravesite, what is your protocol? What do you do?
Okay, what happens first is the ride captain, the person that's in charge of that mission, gets there way before everybody else. Now, if it was me, I get to where I am and I look around to see where we're going to stand. I go in, and if there's someone to introduce myself to, I would introduce myself to. Let them know that I'm here. We are going to stand here when I find out where. And every mission is different. If we have a big mission, it's very big, I might stop in at the police station, let them know you're going to have 50 motorcycles or 50 cars at this funeral home, just so they don't think something's wrong. So the ride captain does everything. He verifies all the information. He talks to anyone he needs to talk to, finds the place, finds the cemetery. So we aren't lost. We get to the cemetery. I know where that spot is. I know in advance. I know. Sometimes some of the other people that attend will ask, well, where's the cemetery? I already know it. I've checked it out. And we try to do it personally. So I go out there, introduce myself. Then we have our riders come. I talk to them. I tell them this is the person, this is what we're going to do, this is the plan. Then we go do what we have to do.
Wow. So everyone truly is different.
It's unbelievable. I've been to a funeral where I was there and the body was late to the church, and they didn't know where the body was. It was being transported to the church. So you have to wonder, what do I do next? That's a decision that the ride captain has to make. And if they're late at the church, and in this particular case, it was going to National Cemetery, and they have a schedule. They have to be there at a certain time. So if they're late at the church, you think they're going to be late at the cemetery. So I waited, but I also called. We had people at the cemetery already. I called those people and told them, we have an issue. The body is not here yet. So just wait for me.
It's very entailed. If you'd say that, that is remarkable, because I would never have thought of this. It's very, very complicated.
We've had a body that was transported. He was cremated, this body, and he was transported by motorcycle from the south, Alabama or someplace down there. And all the Patriot Guard riders met him on the way. And we met the cremations in Pennsylvania, at the border of West Virginia and Pennsylvania, and we escorted all the way to the gravesite.
Oh my Lord.
And for us, it was a 2-day. We escorted them to the hotel, then to the gravesite. So it was a 2-day mission, and all the way from the south. So to communicate with those guys, I mean, he's on a motorcycle. You're always trying to communicate with them to make this mission work. So it is. They're all complicated. They're all different.
They're all different. And you know what is so dear about it? Some of you guys ride those great big motorcycles and you're so scary looking. And then when I get to know you and know that you're a Patriot Guard rider and you're the sweetest people in the world, it's just, it's wonderful. Absolutely, positively wonderful.
Well, we tried it to be that way. I mean, some of us, as you know already, look rough and
rough and ready.
Rough and ready, but you know their hearts are in the right place. If you can stand for a veteran, you know your heart's in the right place.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I would imagine it really gives you a feeling of self-worth and goodness, you know, to do something like that.
Absolutely.
And make you very proud, really proud.
I am proud. I don't always agree with every Patriot Guard rider, but I am proud of every one of them. Because, and for them to do what they do, to get out of bed, stand for a long time, sometimes in very cold weather or very hot weather, and stand and be there. That's they've done something incredible.
Yes, and it really is to be there. That's what the message, you know, that you give the family is that we're here.
And we are supporting you in every way.
Every way, and to let you know that you'll never be alone, and you'll always be a part of the Patriot Guard Riders. And I think that is a very, very great honor. I really do. I think you men are terrific. There's just not enough words, really.
I think they are terrific too.
Yeah, and there's not enough stations out there getting your message out too. You know, it seems like you'll see little clips on TV about this or about that, you know. But the organization is so bountiful with love and respect and caring. You're great guys.
Well, there's not enough word getting out. And the other thing is, people have the wrong impression. They think they have to be a veteran, or they have to own a motorcycle, or they have to do all these things that or they have to stand for hours upon hours. We don't ask that. We ask that all you have to do is want to honor the person we're standing for. If you come for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or you relieve somebody else so that he could take a break, that's fine with us.
Wow. Now, do you go to the funeral homes too? If you were asked to go there?
We do go to the funeral homes. We go wherever the family wants us to go.
Yeah, because sometimes there were times where it was bad, you know, for a serviceman's family, you know, to try to bury. And that's what you were created for, right? To protect.
There was a group, as you know, that was that came to funerals and made fun of the veterans, called them names, did everything that they shouldn't do.
Unbelievable.
And we don't even mention their name anymore.
Right.
But that's why we were created. And we do, there is a part of us in what we do to protect that family. And there are times that reporters come and the family doesn't want that. And we don't want to say to a reporter, you can't be here for whatever reason, from someone that was killed. But out of respect, we try to tell them, you know, you have to stand here. That family doesn't really want you there. And we are there to protect that family too. We honor that family in every way.
And that's what the group was created for.
Absolutely.
And they do. They protect the families. And I've been to one or two funerals for servicemen where reporters tried to push their way in. And you just stand there in total amazement that why would you do this? This is sacred. Why would you ever even think about doing that? But by having you there, you will ask them, please step back and let these people do, they're grieving and have their time.
That's true. We, at one funeral that I wasn't right, Captain, we had someone at the funeral that was drunk. That's not our business really, but he started to swear loudly, very loudly. And I asked him to leave, or not to swear, but he continued. So then I asked him to leave. You got to go. He got angry with me, but you can't come to a funeral and loudly, because you're drunk, swear in words that that you shouldn't do. It's not something you don't honor that veteran. You don't honor that family by doing that.
Well, that's, I think, is why you guys, I'll say it to you a million, trillion times, that you're so wonderful to do this, to protect the families and honor the families and to let them know they matter. And I think over the years, from the Vietnam War, even the Second World War, after so many 25, 30 years, men are forgotten, that they did fight. And then the Vietnam and Korea, these men are forgotten. They're your next door neighbor, or somebody that you work with, but you never look at them like that. That they do their service and they quietly come home and they go into the world again. But if I see someone dressed in uniform, I always do walk up and say thank you on behalf of my family. Thank you so very much. My brothers were all in the service, like I said, in the Vietnam War. And my dad was a motion picture operator out in Imperial, PA. That's when they had drive-ins. And he'd come home on the Penn Lincoln Parkway. And if he'd ever see a sailor, an Army guy, anybody hitching, because everybody used to thumb back then. You don't do that today. But he'd pick them up and he'd drive them. We lived here in Bethel, and he'd take them to wherever they lived. If it was Mount Lebanon, Dormont, whatever, buy them breakfast, whatever, come home, and tell us about it. But you can't imagine how many times a young man would come and knock on our door, and I was just a young teenager then, and would knock on the door, and my mom would answer, and they'd say, I was with your son over here and here, and he told me, if you ever get to Bethel, stop in and see my mom and dad. And we'd feed them. It was like a great big family.
It's amazing.
Yeah, really.
Really?
The stories are, I was the youngest and looking up, at all this going on. And my parents were terrorized. If a car, came in the driveway we didn't know, every time the phone would ring, my mom would look at my dad, kind of thing. But they went to work every day. They made our family normal, and my brothers got married, had children. My dad made them all come home, the wives. They had to live with us until my brothers, could come and get them, take them to live with them. And it was that way with every family. It just seemed, the whole country was like brought together.
True, very true.
But today, it doesn't. It just, well, he's in the start. There's just not that. Your life revolved around those boys. I used to write letters. I worked at the mall. And I used to write letters all day, so-and-so's coming, blah, blah. And I'd send it maybe 14-page letter to my brother, and he was on a destroyer. And he'd put that up on the bulletin board. And guys would go by, and they'd stand there and read. So by the time I think my one brother got out of the Navy, I had about 80 young men that I was writing to. Didn't know them, who they were, whatever. But that's what you did.
And we were grateful for that. I mean, I was a combat Marine, and there were letters sent from different people I didn't know, and I still don't know who they are, but they wrote, and that made you feel better.
Sure, because we cared.
And that's what we wanted to know. Back then in the Vietnam War era, there was half the people were crazy and the other half of the people you depended on.
Yeah, that was a sad time. That was a sad time. And we had, my oldest brother went in the Army, and my brother, a second, went in the Navy, and my third brother did not have to go in because they had that law, you know, that the one brother could stay out. And that was, oh no, if my brothers are in there, I'm going. And he went, and he got sent to Vietnam. And when he came home, he wasn't that guy. I mean, he was normal, perfect to everyone, but I could look in his eyes, and that, you know, he was different from being there.
Any war changes you. You go in. I was 19 when I went to Vietnam. I was already in the Marine Corps a couple of years. So it does change you. All those dreams that you had before, you look at them, you have the same dreams, they're just looked at differently.
Oh, and I think the Patriot Guard riders are good for men that had hard times, you know, mentally. There to come home in any war, to come home and be able to go and help somebody, because maybe, I don't know, I'm a girl, but maybe it could help change some of those bad memories that you see, you know, from where you were at. And if you're standing at the grave and you're looking around, maybe helping someone, maybe it could help you with your depression.
Well, that's true. And Patriot Guard riders is made up of a lot of veterans, many veterans. Everybody can stand, but it's natural that veterans become part of Patriot Guard riders. And for us, those veterans, to be close to another veteran, we understand them.
See.
So it is easier for us to communicate. And the families understand that too. Sometimes a wife will have years of not communicating with her husband in some areas, and here we can come in, and we opened up that area. Many times, especially for me, when I'm with another Marine, I'm in a different world. I don't say anyone's different, but when it comes to a Marine, there is that relationship where we are brothers. I look at it that way. They look at it that way.
Uh-oh, guess what? It's time to go.
Oh, that's not good.
I know. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate you giving your time to BPTV. I really and truly do. And I'm so glad to let everyone know that Aaron will be coming back, and we're going to be doing Let's Talk Tail Wagger show about his Rottweilers, and that's going to be lots of fun too. So it's time to say goodbye. So that's what I'm asking today from the show. Could you please, in your time of prayer, offer thanks to the Lord for the Patriot Guard riders.
Thank you.